My name is Duddits, I do builds and stuff. Today's video is something that I don't normally do, but it's just an idea that I had what I think Bungie should implement with regarding the Dual Destiny mission. When this Dual Destiny mission come out, it caused a bit of an uproar in the community because a lot of people play solo, and a lot of players don't actually really get to sort of end game level where the mission was sort of quite a tough mission when it actually first come out. However, Bungie I've actually reworked some of the dungeons in the Rite of the 9 event. They actually put an explorer mode on things like Spire of the Watcher, Prophecy and Ghosts of the Deep, which actually made a big difference for these players, and it actually enticed people to go in there and try it. The explorer sort of version of them dungeons via the Rite of the 9 included things like tooltips, little pointers, where to go, etc. So that's basically what this video is about. Let me know what you guys think of this idea. I wanted to sort of see if we could get Bungie to rework Dual Destiny with an Explorer mode. But first, I need to go over some armor changes that's coming, because it all makes sense eventually, so bear with me. So mobility, resilience, recovery, strength, discipline and intellect is all getting changed over to a new sort of stat, if you like. Mobility is weapons, resilience is going to be your health, recovery is class, strength is melee, discipline is grenade, and intellect is now super. I have to go through these first because it's all going to make sense, because these are going to be active on class item combos as well. So I'm not going to go through every single thing that's changing, but you can see here between 1 and 100, 100 to 200 on your melee and your health, you're going to get different benefits. Now I will leave the TWID, the This Week at Bungie, or This Week in Destiny, in the video where they talk about this in more in depth, but your stats are going to massively improve your melee and your health, regeneration and bonuses as well. We've also got things not just health and melee, there's also things like intellect as well. So again, if you look at the super or your intellect 1 to 100, it's going to give you a certain stat, and then 100 to 200, it's going to give you better stats, better abilities, things like that. Same with your class, all that type of good stuff. Like your higher stats, the better the sort of regeneration, etc, etc. Now, why is this important with Dual Destiny? Because Bungie have actually gone out and said at the moment that our class items are going to roll with these specific stats or words. So for example, as for an exotic class items, we'll be updating these items directly with stats based on perks that they have on them. If you already have perk combinations you like, keep them. If you are still hunting, feel free to visit the Pale Heart and get ready for the Edge of Fate. Don't forget, Zare, he will also sell these as well. So if you don't have the class item combos at the moment, they're going to be very important when Edge of Fate comes, because we're going to be able to get, for example, like Spirit of the Assassin. I can't say for certain, or things like Spirit of Synthoceps, they're sort of like melee finisher type exotics. They're probably going to get the melee intrinsic rolled on there. And you've also got things, for example, again, I just want to say I don't know for absolute certainty that Synthoceps and Assassin will roll with melee, but probably Spirit of the Eternal Warrior. This is to do with your super, so that's going to be your super, i.e. intellect sort of stat or wording. And then on top of that as well, you've got other things like Spirit of Scars, which is your health regen, probably. So all of these things are going to be super important in Edge of Fate, in my opinion. If you don't have them already, we're going to need a really good solid way to go get them. If you haven't got them already, or if you have got them already and you may want different rules, you may want to go regrind again. This is where the Rite of the 9 sort of comparison or idea popped into my mind. So with Rite of the 9, like I said at the beginning of the video, they introduced a new user-friendly mode called the Explorer mode. And credit given where credit is due, they did an excellent job with this, in my opinion. The Explorer mode basically makes the dungeons like a lot more easier, a lot more user friendly. They give you tooltips, etc. They literally point out which way to go, and it's just a really good way for like newer players or players who've never considered tackling dungeons. It just gives them a really good opportunity to go and try it, and more importantly, go get some of that sweet loot. So just for example, I've got a few clips on what they actually did, as I'm sure you've known if you've played the Explorer modes. They literally give you little tooltips like there. It'll say the Hive Trail, follow that Hive Trail, do this, do that. It basically makes it a lot easier and a lot more user friendly for people. So I've got a couple more examples. Obviously, following this trail in the Ghosts of the Deep, it'll say follow the trail, kill this, look at the symbol, etc. Kill the night. Make sure you look at this symbol here. This all sort of makes sense towards the end of the video as well with regards to dual destiny. Go finish it, reveal the vestige of light and dunk in the correct statue. Make sure you look at your sort of symbol. Go back, do the mechanics. It just makes the mechanics a lot more user friendly, like I've said a couple of times. And it really does improve the player base as well. Like, you will get a lot of people jumping on to do these activities when they find out they've been reworked, made a bit easier, things like that. You might get weapons that you may think you'd never had, never been able to get, and you've managed to be able to go get them. But that's just one example. You've got things like Spire of the Watcher with regarding the nerds and the attrition. You could sort of like see what they've done there. They've put little pointers on there, little markers, telling you exactly what to do. And it's good, like I said, for people who like play solo as well. It's really good for solo, and it's really good for like, even if you just got two friends just starting up the game or something like that, but specifically good for solo people. So they could really did a good job with this, in my opinion. And this is something I've left feedback for on the sort of forums and the Discords over the past couple of months. How about for dual destiny, if they reduced the amount of players needed for this activity, or even if they kept it with 2 and put these little pointers in situations like this, it literally tells you where you need to go stand and what you need to go do. You can sort of imagine here there'll be a little marker or a little cursor telling you where to go. And like I said, obviously dual destiny at the moment is a 2-player activity, but they could very, very easily make this a 1-player activity. By the cursors, they could make you just go stand on the light first and the dark second, or even if they did keep it a 2-player activity, just having the need not to sort of type in or communicate via voice could be a really, really solid option. And again, we're going to be able to farm them class items, and I'm sure there's players out there just relying on Zare every week just to go get these class items. Well, what happens if we could just hit the Explorer mode and go do this mission? Just load it up on your own, for example. I think that would massively improve the player base, and it would actually reignite that Final Shape DLC as well. Again, for situations like this where you've got the clock or the wheel, whatever you want to call it, they could literally put the cursors there, like what you need to shoot, via than having to type. I mean, I'm playing on PC, so I'm lucky it's pretty easy for me to type, and I've always got people to play with most of the time, so it don't bother me too much. But for players like who sort of like new or really prefer playing on their own, they could easily put them cursors and just let you shoot whatever needed. Now, I just mentioned it as well about reigniting that Final Shape DLC because I personally saw like a drop off in player base and complaints as soon as Dual Destiny come out. The Final Shape was actually really, really sort of good. It was getting loads of reviews, and as soon as Dual Destiny come out, that's when the sort of shit hit the fan, if you like. It sort of went a bit downhill because players realised it wasn't sort of solo or like very sort of user-friendly mission. However, if they did do this, what I'm thinking, give it the right treatment, no pun intended, give it the Rite of the Explorer treatment, I think it could actually reignite that full DLC. And even in that clip there with the symbols where you have to go shoot the symbols, they could very, very easily just put a few cursors on there of what and what not to shoot. So, final thoughts on the video. Again, I want you to let me know what you guys think of this little idea. Again, little cursors there. It could reignite the Final Shape DLC just on its own, just by doing this. And imagine all the fun you can have with all these class item combos that you might not think you'd ever get. If they did the Explorer mode on this, it could be absolutely amazing. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.